Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing Theodore Rex by Edmund Morris. As I'm sure you can guess by the cover and the title, this book is about Theodore Roosevelt. Before I get started on the review of this book, first let me mention I am such a big fan of Theodore Roosevelt. He's one of my favorite figures in American, world, and political history that I would recommend any book about Teddy Roosevelt. He is such a fascinating and interesting figure. He really was a one-of-a-kind individual with countless fascinating stories about him. Everything he tended to do was unique and groundbreaking. So any book about Teddy Roosevelt, if it's written halfway decently, is going to be a fascinating book. So first off, like I said, get any book about Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Rex or anyone else, but a book about Teddy Roosevelt, like I said, if it's halfway decently written, it will be a good book. Theodore Rex itself focuses on Teddy Roosevelt's 2 terms as United States President. And boy, were they action-packed terms. He did countless things, from the Panama Canal to negotiating the end of a war between Russia and Japan, to being the creator of the American park system. I mean, really, the national parks. If you've ever been to a national park in America, Teddy Roosevelt was really the one who started that movement to help preserve those, national treasures. So, thank Teddy Roosevelt for that. Began the process of busting up the trust in businesses in America. Had a huge impact, into the era of, monopolies among businesses in America. Was really the person that helped bring out America into the world stage of politics. Before then, America had always been very isolationist. Teddy Roosevelt was the one who really began that process of ending that and making America a player on the world stage. Teddy Roosevelt had such a big impact on the American political system that anybody who's been a political science major in college like I was, that's what I got my degree in, will know when you're studying the office of the presidency, they usually break it up into different eras, and one of the eras is the modern presidency, which is the era we're in now. And Teddy Roosevelt is usually credited as being the first modern American president. Really, before Teddy Roosevelt, the public's expectations of what the president would do in office, what he was supposed to do, was completely different than their expectations after Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt completely changed what the American public expected from their presidency. After Teddy Roosevelt, nobody could go back to the way the political system was before him. They had to all try to kind of copy his behavior and policies as United States President. They all had to kind of try to follow in his footsteps. And anybody that has such a big impact on such an important office, is an extremely important figure in world American political history, whatever genre of history you want to focus on. Teddy Roosevelt is an extremely important figure and a fascinating figure. So like I said, read Theodore Rex or any other book about Teddy Roosevelt, and I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Like I said, great figure. He's one of those figures. If he was really alive today, he'd be one of those people that'd be on the tabloids every day, would be on the evening news every day. He'd just be constant headlines, constant quotes. He's such a fascinating figure. In fact, I'm almost kind of glad he was alive 100 years ago and not today, because I think almost the 24-hour news cycle that we have now, with a figure like Teddy Roosevelt, I think they would have destroyed his career, because he was constantly saying stuff that I don't know if he would have been able to rein in his views in a kind of this more politically correct era we have now. I think he might have, kind of said some dumb stuff that might have ended his political career. So maybe it is better off that he was alive 100 years ago and the media wasn't constantly covering every single action and word he said. But Teddy Roosevelt, like I said, extremely interesting figure. Read any book about him, and maybe after you read a book about him, you'll be such a big fan like I am that maybe one day you'll have a poster hit of him on your wall like I do right behind me. So Theodore Rex by Edmund Morris or any other book about Teddy Roosevelt has my recommendation. Hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you the next time.